Welcome aboard the Master Syria for VOR leg 9, 14 days, 11 hours, 35 minutes. I have been away for way too long. I'm still in Brisbane on my bi-yearly holiday down under, and Pacific has taken the lion's share of sailing our boat across the pond, as they say, but I had enough time in Australia to make as many mistakes as I possibly could and mess up her plans. But I think that overall it was really the weather that trolled us the whole time across. It was not, or it hasn't been, a very fun journey for us at all. We find ourselves in 8th position, all of our own making. Probably around about 13 nautical miles behind Dingo, who's done very well. Seth Warner, Chuckzilla, Vitali, Gargantuan, and Blackborough, obviously. These two are finished already. I'll talk about them in a moment. It's good to see some new faces in the top 10. Lewis Depth's done very well, and Jasper Full Moon just outside. Tangent there, Eon, the Dane, Pepper's Ghost. Not doing quite as well as last leg, probably very busy with work. Rafa Carstiger, Chris, John, Shogun, Lake Dealer, Vil P, Eager Pete, Yacht C, Slowmo, Connecticom, Sparksby, Caveman, and TJ Fly, who had some problems at the start apparently. So that's not really going to change very much, I don't think. Well, not our position anyway. Dingo's definitely got us. The only real question that I have here is whether Tommy is going to catch up to Chuckzilla, who's only about 6 or 7 nautical miles in front of him. Anyway, so the last bit of the journey is going to be south of Rat Island and then around and to Cardiff and Penarth, which is quite interesting because growing up in England a little bit, my parents are English, we spent a lot of time around Penarth and Barry. My grandparents used to live around this area for much of my life, and so it's going to be interesting coming up past here. And docking in the next 24 hours, I would imagine. Probably a little bit less than that now. I've got about 4 hours till our next waypoint, and then another probably 5 or 6 hours to go, so probably about 12 hours to go, but we're not going to catch these guys, I would imagine. Not unless Dingo decides to head into one of these, either get hit into this island here, which I think he's going to miss, or into one of the headlands as they come past. It's now 5:39 in the morning, and we are just cruising along. Let's talk about a little bit of what's happened in this race. I want to come really right back to the start. Pacific and I were doing very, very well in the beginning. We were number 1. Pacific took us out and did a lot of work actually, and got us into first place for the first 24-48 hours. But then we had a steering problem, and I don't know which one of these lines is it, but it's probably this one here, this yellow one here. And as you can see, we're headed off out. And actually that's not the one, this is the one here, and found ourselves sort of doing a cycle of loops, and by the time that we got up to the south of St John's here, or St Scott's, found ourselves not too far away from the 2 leaders. We were probably about 40 or maybe 50 nautical miles away from them, and that's when they got into a system and we just missed out on it, and we found ourselves in a lot of this dark blue for many days. We were doing 4 and 5 knots. It allowed a lot of guys to catch up to us, and even Tommy Codds, who started late, he came up past Gloverton here and did this big circle around and across, and he caught up to us as well. So we had a long time coming up through this little stretch here, and then even up and around. And every time that we thought going north was the best thing, you know, in these races you try to find the wind, obviously. Every time that we looked at a grib, or we looked at windy here, we thought, okay, we've got to get up a bit more north, or we've got to go a little bit south. And every time the prediction faded to nothing over the next 12 or 18 hours. So it really did seem like we were being trolled. Anyway, that's the luck of the draw, I guess. The guys to the south did quite well, just coming straight across. And it was about 24 hours ago, 24, maybe 48 hours ago, I guess. Tommy Codds was, we did this little bend here to come down south of Tommy, and it was really quite good winds. There was about up to 20-25 knots around here, and I went on manual, and I chalked out about a 4 or 5 nautical mile in front of him. I went offline because I'm at my parents' house and I can't use their internet very much. And over the course of the next 2 or 3 hours, when I logged back in again, he was 6 or 7 nautical miles in front. So in about 2 or 3 hours, we'd lost all of that time, even though we were doing a fairly similar sort of course to him. Now, I know that there's been problems with team boats, and I've talked about it before, the advantages and disadvantages of them. I can only imagine that Tommy was online doing some really good sheet work during that time. Oh, there we go. Sometimes happens with windy. I find it a little bit annoying sometimes. And then we crossed over him, and I just couldn't keep up with him. So I decided that, which was a big mistake on my part, to try to, I don't know, use the VMC to our advantage and see what the best angle was for us, which took us a little bit more to the east. In the end, that's proved to be our fatal flaw, because Tommy came down in this yellow line down here and got really a good angle, and there was nice wind in this pocket last night, and it's allowed him to go past, who was it, Seth Warner, unfortunately for Seth, and to catch right up to Chuck Zilla there. So it's going to be interesting to see whether Tommy can really get away with it and even take a few more positions, because if you've been looking at the standings, although Master Series is #1 at the moment, we're very close to, well, Tommy's very close to us, and Blackborough is 3rd. After this leg, we're going to find ourselves in a lot of pressure, and you know, pressure is good and pressure is bad, but it's going to be a very close race, the next 2 legs. So Pacific and I are fairly psyched about the whole thing, even though we know that we've made mistakes on this leg, and mistakes will happen. We hope to bounce back for the next leg. Anyway, this is just a fairly quick video just to say hello, because I haven't been on my channel for about a month. And good luck to the rest of the competitors. Obviously, I'll just go GFS, sorry, for a moment. These guys here are going to have a little bit more time to get across. Let's see what happens in the next little bit. Yeah, the winds do pick up, but it's not going to really change anything that we've done down here. These guys are going to steamroll into port fairly quickly after that. Alright guys, have a great day, and hopefully I'll see you for the next leg when I'll be back in Busan, and hopefully have a little bit more time to do these and to also race